Imagine being a 76ers fan on Christmas Day. You've got what was quietly one of the hottest teams in the NBA securing yet another dub in front of a massive audience, while Daryl Morey is posting Bing Bong memes to the timeline, and you can't even enjoy it to its fullest because you're freaking getting reports stuffed down your throat that the guy that you traded Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, a 2022 unprotected first, and a 2027 protected first for might just not want to play for you anymore after this season. For a lot of 76ers fans, Woj was straight up the Grinch on Christmas. December 25th, Woj would report that All-Star guard James Harden is seriously considering a return to the Houston Rockets in free agency this July if he decides against a new deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. According to sources, Harden and his inner circle have been quietly weighing Houston in recent months. When I first saw this report, I was kind of shocked, more so at the timing than anything. And then I kind of got to wondering, how do these NBA inner circles work? When it comes to decision making, how does this whole process work? Imagine Travis Scott and Lil Baby huddled around a table with James Harden, reminiscing about Harden's Houston days and how he used to lead the league in scoring while being one of the most unguardable players in the NBA. You guys know how I feel about Harden. You can say what you want about him, but you can't deny that the guy was filthy. As a major supporter of the Rockets and being somebody that now resides in Houston, Harden's tenure in Houston was special. It's understandable that he would miss playing for the team where he was quite literally the man. There's nothing like nostalgia. Let's face the facts. Nostalgia always hits, and when it hits hard. I can't tell you guys how often I think about some of those early versions of Pokemon. The blue version with the Blastoise on the cover, man, that one was crazy. Well, for Harden, in a way, Houston is his blue version with the Blastoise on the cover. I know that a lot of people look at the Rockets right now and wonder why a team like this would be interested in bringing back its franchise superstar, aside from the feel-good franchise icon returning stuff. Well, the Rockets actually have this astronomical incentive to become competitive. After this season, I don't think we'll be seeing any more tanking for talent via the draft like Jalen Green, as after this season, this team begins to not own its own picks, which wouldn't be the worst thing if they were able to put together that competitive roster that I was just referring to. And besides, who wouldn't want to see the Rockets winning? This is a team that is not short on young talent. Jalen Green is dynamic and looks poised to become one of the best players in the game, and I'll go a step further to say that I know that he will be. Eason's a monster. People sleep on Şengün. Jabari Smith with an elite playmaker would be so much fun and probably also great for his development. The Harden and Niang connection speaks for itself. And as for KPJ, this guy just continues to flash and improve. I mean, he just dropped 36, 7, and 9 on Chicago. Now, ironically, I'm not really sure how the fit with KPJ and Harden would work out, but I am sure that if Harden were to come back to town, that Houston would have a few tricks of its own up its sleeves when it comes to roster moves. And don't forget that Harden is more pass first now than ever, which could definitely work out in the Rockets' favor. Also, mind you that this team is set to receive another top flight draft pick in a very stacked draft class. Harden returning after the Rockets reloaded would be filthy. And I'm not even referring to basketball. When Harden left, he knew that Rockets window had slammed shut and that they had some rebuilding to do. Theoretically, if he really wanted to return, he got to compete while they got to rebuild and retool. Honestly, I feel disgusting even describing this possibility. Now, I might be in the minority here, but I love when players approaching their late prime or are already there go to a young ascending team and attempt to be that missing piece or veteran leader. Recently, we've seen CJ do this with New Orleans, we've seen CP3 do it with Phoenix, and while it's apples to oranges, but Jimmy Butler along with Spo were able to elevate the Miami Heat in a way that not many saw coming. I can't even lie. Butler going to Miami was a vibe. Now, with all that being said, if I was personally a 76ers fan, I'm probably not too worried about Harden leaving, as it would provide opportunity to restructure the roster at the worst. And personally, I don't think it's happening, but I must say that anything is possible and the timing of this drop is interesting. You see, Harden has reiterated time and time again that he wants to win, and can Houston really provide a more favorable situation than Philly? James Harden is literally playing with one of the most skilled bigs the game has ever seen in Joel Embiid. In a recent interview with Yaron Weitzman, Harden would be asked if he'd care about how he'd be remembered, and he'd respond with, "Of course, I'm going to be remembered in basketball, so of course I care, but people are going to talk no matter what. But I care about like winning and the things that are important and matter. I don't care about things that don't matter, that are going to be a story for 28 or 48 hours and then go away. I'm one of the people that changed the game of basketball. Honestly, the only thing that I'm missing is a championship. This interview would be filled with gems, one of them being this quote by James Harden. Internally, things weren't what I expected when I got traded to Brooklyn. I think everybody knows that, and I knew people were going to talk and say you quit and all that stuff. But then the following summer, the other superstar there wanted to leave. So it's like, am I still the quitter? Yeah, guys, this interview by Fox Sports was loaded with good stuff. Definitely advise you to check it out. So get back to talking about Harden possibly leaving the 76ers. When he was asked about the situation before the Christmas Day game, he'd respond with, "What report?" adding that he didn't know what the report was talking about. He'd go on to become agitated and say, "Why would you ask me about that on Christmas? You didn't even say Merry Christmas or anything. You asked me about something that I'm not answering. I didn't see nothing." Interesting response, right? But check this out. After that same Christmas Day game, Harden would say that I'm here. We are playing very well. And I don't know where that report came from, but I'm very excited to be here. We are playing well and we are continuing to get better. Harden makes a really good point. This team's been looking really good. And Maxey has missed a lot of time. Harden has missed a lot of time. This team has had a good number of injuries, but yet they still look like one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. When it comes to James Harden possibly leaving, remember that this is the same guy that probably took less money this offseason and said to spend the rest on improving the roster. As much as I would love a potential Harden return to Houston, it's hard for me to envision him leaving a potential championship caliber team or his buddy Daryl Morey without some blockbuster deal lined up for the Rockets to go out and acquire another star, or the Rockets just offering some ridiculous contract that nobody would want to match. I would like to emphasize that the Rockets have a lot of cap space and tradable pieces. That roster could look very different next season. Let me also add in that this team has been drafting very well. I really feel like I undersold Şengün and Tari Eason earlier in the video. Rockets fans who are watching this video, don't worry guys, we are going to get you a video. Now, before I forget, I just have to say this guys, leverage is real. And if Harden wanted to, as evidenced, he could generate a ton. In the comments below, let me know what you would be comfortable paying Harden in free agency. Also, let me know what teams you think he would be a good fit on if he did decide to test the open market. It's way too early to start that retirement tour, right? Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm Gilly Coop bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.